And when you've got someone like that driving the ship and they know what they're doing, this is what you get. And I think
audacity that you have to bring up such scoreline. I applaud such audacity, and this will come back on the tenfold.
Liverpool need a Fred right now.
We do not need Fred.
You thought you had one in paper.
No.
yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you're listening, welcome to another installment of Podcast Pundits. I'm Strives. Sometimes I go by Striver. I'm going to be your host for today. I represent Arsenal. I will try to be your Arsenal correspondent for the day because that's the only Arsenal correspondent here.
Only Arsenal haters other than that. So yeah, you got to do that.
we're doing the thingy, the clap.
What clap? Oh yeah, for what clap for
The
you?
celebratory clap.
Hey,
Yeah,
clap,
guys,
clapping
I'm-
for nobody. You guys might have the clap, but ain't clapping for nobody, bro.
Are we levels enough to ask put some comments in on what you think is the right thing, listeners? Do you want to describe? Do you want to describe the terms? Do you want to describe the terms, Jules?
Yeah.
What was the terms?
Hey, I beg you go back to introduction.
Guys,
I beg you go back to introduction.
they don't even know who y'all are yet. So we're gonna go anti-clockwise. We're gonna introduce the Liverpool correspondent for the podcast for the day. He goes by the name of
Joey Nomadic, or just Joey. Obviously, I'm here representing a team that shall remain nameless. Again, I'm just here to support the crew. Back up. Nothing more, nothing less. Holla at me.
Brill. All right, so Joey, that's Joey Nomadic. He's just introduced you himself. We're now going to go over to, he is our usual host for the day, but he's had a brilliant week. I'm sure he's going to let us know all about it. He goes by the name of
Dre, man. Yep. Avid Man United fan. Glad we're back. Good to see the boys back at the level that we should be at. And yeah, man, it's been an immense week. And yeah, man, it brings a little tear to my eye if I'm honest. So yeah, and still waiting for that clap. So yeah, man, you lot need to do that clap.
I don't know. I'm not too sure exactly
What did they mean when they said clap?
I don't know.
Chlamydia?
I'm wondering if he's gone to one of the clinics or something like that. Bro, can you keep this foot off the podcast, please? Yeah. Moving on to Dre Man's left, we go on to another Manchester United correspondent. He's had a big weekend as well, celebrating Del Estrada's occasion.
Is that what you're going to call it? It's a stag.
Oh, well, we call it a stag.
It's a stag, yeah.
Okay, cool, man. I don't know if we're gonna,
You don't need to squash that beef that you
yeah, man, if that guy, man. But yeah, bruv. So yeah, he's just come off of a good weekend, and he supports Manchester United, and he goes by the name of
Marley Marr. It's been a good week. It's been a good week. Man United delivered. Went on a stag do over in Seville. Saw a Sevilla game. Fantastic game. 5 goals in it. End to end. It's like basketball. Amazing. But yeah, it's been a good week, man.
Who did they play?
Osasuna. They lost, but a couple of scorches in the game. I'll send you the clips. Hold tight.
Nice, man. So the football all around all weekend, but we love that. We love that. Right, just before we get into the pod, it's going to be a good one today. I can feel it. I can feel it in the air. Guys, make sure you subscribe to us on Spotify, Podcast Pundits. Subscribe to us on Amazon, Google. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. And you can find us on social media as well. Podcast Pundits on Instagram. It's podcast.pundits. You can also find us on Twitter, Podcast Pundits _ And yes, guys, we're going to get cracking. I think it's only right that we start off with what I would say is the massive feat of the week. Manchester United. Manchester United had a brilliant week. Last week, we said that it was probably the most important week of their season so far, and boy, did they deliver. before we go, we know where we're going to end up. If if you're a football follower, you know where we're going to end up. But let's just, before we get into that, let's just start off with the midweek thriller. Can you imagine? That's the starters. Midweek thriller versus Barcelona.
You're saying passing the test with flying colours, right?
It seems so,
Sure.
I didn't even watch the game, bro. So you can't.
Sure. I know you heard about it though, didn't you, Dal?
I didn't hear nothing.
It looks like United came from behind to beat Barcelona 2-1 to knock out who many people have put forth as the favourites for the Europa competition. Let's just spend a couple of minutes to just talk about that. Marley Marl, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, my United commentary this weekend is probably this week is going to be it's going to be all feelings. I'll be honest. The team are back, man.
Yeah,
100%.
The team are back. We're looking better with every single game. Obviously, tough opponents with Barcelona, currently sitting at the top of the Liga, running away with the league. I think they actually drew this weekend. Drew or lost.
Who they play?
I can't remember who they played, but I know it wasn't a favourable result. But yeah, they're playing well. Absolute test. Aggregate score from obviously the first game was 2-2. They got the first goal, penalty from Bruno Fernandes, which was an actual penalty. So there was no qualms on that. But yeah, man, the team dug deep, man. The team dug deep. Managed to get through the test with flying colours. Yeah, man, I'm confident.
How did you feel? Sorry to cut you. I'm glad you're confident. Let's bring Drayman into this one here. How did you feel? Obviously, as Marley Marl just alluded to, Bruno gave away that penalty when we're used to him scoring them, so he was on the wrong end of the penalty. So you're 1-0 down. How did you feel your team responded to that? Because I think you went into the half 1-0 down.
1-0 down, yeah. And we kind of started the second half how I kind of expected. Because I didn't think we played too well in that first half, to be honest.
What do you think changed it?
I think most of the times with our games, and I don't know whether it's to do with how many games we're actually playing in quick succession, but I feel like we don't have that intensity that we know we have, that we can bring to the game. But now that seeing us play every week, going down, I'm not worried. Whereas before, like when we used to lose a goal, I'd be like, okay, I'm not sure if we've got the mentality to bring this back. But then we went in at half time, and obviously Ten's had his team talk, and he's gone out there to basically tell them like we need to up this intensity, like guys, like you're going out the Europa League, and yeah, they just seem to be performing. And again, I think that's down to again Ten, and also I think the togetherness that we have in the team. And I think the good thing that Ten's showing is that it is important to have like a good squad, and that people coming off the bench, like they've got a job to do as well. So yeah.
Probably his half-time substitution. Obviously, Weghorst came off at half-time, and Anthony came on in the second half, and he was the one obviously who got that winning goal. Ten at the minute is we say it like he is looking very, very good at the minute. His decisions in game seem to be on point. Like he's getting the best out of players that previous managers would have struggled with. He's effectively using Wan-Bissaka, brothers like Delo, improved on form. Rashford's in form. Anthony's come from the Dutch league and is chipping in. Fred had an absolute blinder.
He did. He had a really good game. But just before you go on to Fred, actually, how do you feel? Because I noticed that Jadon Sancho, he started in number 10. We picked up on that from the week prior. But then I think Drayman touched on obviously the big speech that may have happened in the dressing room and the changes that went into the second half. And one of the changes was Sancho moved from the 10 to the left. Did you notice that? And if you did, how do you feel that impacted your play?
Probably in a beneficial way. What's good with how 10 is currently utilising the players. Like what we see is that a lot of players are playing in different positions. So in terms of how the structure is, it's very, very. It's not rigid. It's very, very fluid, which seems to be helping. McTominay came on and McTominay, as you know, as fans review games, and we have often like outlandish ideas, and a lot of people have said Weghorst is basically doing a job that McTominay could do, and lo and behold, McTominay came on the pitch and he was playing in like the false nine kind of thing. He was playing mad high up, and he done it again. We'll speak about the game. He done it again. The game on Sunday or yesterday rather. So yeah, man, he's utilising the squad efficiently. Players are able to play multiple positions, and it's doing well for us for sure. Weghorst obviously didn't seem to work on Thursday, but other games he's came in and he's actually worked. But I'm not concerned about that because we've got the squad to facilitate the need of the manager, which is man, we're in a good way, man.
Yeah, I make you right there. I think with Sancho moving over to the left did,
and I don't think that. I think I wrote in also like one of the groups as well. I think it was like big up like Casemiro and De Gea, and like I remember like Marley Marl was like that's a weird choice.
Yeah, so you're right,
and then looking back on it,
I do take that back, by the way.
Yeah. and then looking back on it, it was them two in terms of defining movements, because I remember with Casemiro, he made like a phenomenal block. I think it was almost like a double block when Barcelona looked like they were going to score, and I think De Gea pulled off like an immense save, which again Barcelona could have gone too clear.
Definitely kept us in the game. So yeah. Just on wax. I do take that back. I yield on that one. You were right.
Yeah. No, it's just like looking back. It's like, geez, these and I think this is the thing with United now. I think they've got that togetherness, and I think with Casemiro, he's basically shown the team like what you have to do. Because I know everyone was saying before, he's come here for like his retirement, but this guy has really
Graveyard.
Well, he's got a cup to his name now, bro. So
Come on, hold tight.
You know what though? I mean, Casemiro has been immense for Manchester United, but I think obviously I do apologise to you, Marley Marl. I cut you off as you were going into it, but Fred, he was quite phenomenal against Barcelona, in my opinion, and I'm somebody that likes to take free digs at Fred Pauls. So
I mean, what he does well, he does extremely well, and I feel like he's understanding how to utilize Fred more so. What he effectively told Fred to do was basically be on Frankie de Jong, and I'm paraphrasing, as like a mosquito apparently, and it's similar to how in big games like Sir Alex might have used Park Ji-sung in terms of like sticking. Yeah. Go on the like their best player and make sure they don't have any joy. He done it in the game against Man City with same with Fred on KDB. He lost him once, but for the rest of the game he shut him down. And it seems to be that's an effective tool that seems to be working with United. Fred just needs to be consistent in when he does come in the team, because he's obviously not going to be always in the team. When he does come in the team, he does that job pretty well.
You know what? There's a fun fact. After Marcus Rashford, I think Fred is your highest goal scorer.
Yeah, he's been on fire still. Mm-hmm. He's been on fire.
Yeah, I would say the one thing with Fred, we all know that the job he can do, but I would say he was phenomenal in that game. But the thing that does let him down from time to time is just a wayward pass.
Yeah.
Whereas if he almost took that split second to almost just like look up or just think where he's going to pass it next, then he'd almost be like a guy that you can't take out the team. And I think that is obviously his one flaw. And I'm not picking on him, but sometimes, it's just a crazy wayward pass. And I know what they're trying to do. Ten's obviously instilled this sort of almost like this one-touch football into them, where it's almost like they pick up the ball and they almost want to just keep it moving. But then that's definitely something like if he improved on that, then you're looking at an all-round like quality player.
Right. So obviously we saw, like you guys have said, Fred was brilliant. Anthony was brilliant, and we didn't see Marcus Rashford get on a score sheet in this game. We saw that he took a bit of a tumble in that game as well. There was a little bit of scares. Would he be available for the game that came up this Sunday where you guys played Newcastle.
Man games.
Yeah, well, that's what some say. I, as an Arsenal fan, was pretty disappointed to see him warming up on Sunday. But let's not make it about Arsenal. And so as Manchester United transitioned over to, obviously, the Sunday game, was it how many days later? 3 days?
Yeah, 3 3 days.
Friday, Saturday, and then game on Sunday.
Yeah, so three days later, you guys have just knocked out Barcelona, the perceived favourites of the Europa competition, and you now have got your first opportunity to win a trophy for the season against Newcastle, a team that has basically performed above what everybody's expectations this season. So definitely good opponents. There were no pushovers by any means.
What, Joey ain't got nothing to say, bro? You just look.
I've got loads to say.
Here we go.
I've been putting my hands up. People been ignoring me.
I'm not ignoring, but
You're making me angry, bro. I put some respect, bro.
I put my hand up and he tried to move on to the next topic.
Oh, you still wanted to say?
I've got something to say.
Right.
So what are you guys saying? Because you lot were waxing lyrical, but trying to like dial it back.
Nah, bro.
About Fred.
We're chill, bro. We're chill, B.
You don't talk about Fred. You were waxing lyrical, then pulled it back. Then waxing lyrical, pulled it back. Are you starting next season with Fred?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, so Fred is shit.
No, I didn't say shit.
I don't think he's shit.
If you're not starting him in your team, he's shit.
Was Park Ji-sung a star?
Park Ji-sung was shit.
So we're going to say that on record.
Bro, obviously there's a standard. I support Liverpool.
Park Ji-sung wasn't shit.
You support this Arsenal current team. You support Man United and class of 92.
Current team?
No, obviously whatever. but you support class of 92. You can't tell me that these guys are the level for Man United. And then you can't say Park Ji-sung is
what I would say is that every player...
Park Ji-sung is shit.
Every player has a purpose on the team or should has a purpose
Park
on the
Ji-sung,
team.
shit.
I wouldn't say it was shit, bro.
It's like Darren Fletcher. Darren Fletcher wasn't shit, but he had a need.
No, Darren Fletcher's a hard-working guy, but he's a shit guy.
Cleverly, a lot of people say he was shit, but he had a need in the team.
No, you're mistaken.
Fred has a need in the team.
Guys,
but where you're getting mistaken is that under previous managers, he was a starter. These motherfuckers were starting him with McTominay.
No, I think
these guys were never the standard.
You're mistaken. Like, shit doesn't mean you're tight as Bramble. No disrespect to him because this black man doing this thing in the 90s. Respect. But it doesn't mean that you're that. Shit
Can you see why I didn't give Joey the mic?
Yeah. I can see what's happening there.
I'm just saying, like, shit just means that in terms of if you were in a Man City squad, a Liverpool squad, or a current Arsenal squad, you're not getting game time.
Okay.
So I'm saying, like, for me, I think Fred is a decent player, but for some reason, when he gets on pitch, he's not bringing out the best of Fred on pitch. So that's why I had to ask, is he there next season? And you lot are saying, no, he's not there next season.
No, I didn't say that. I said he's there.
You know, he's not starting.
No, but not starting. Yeah, but that's a different...
If he's not starting next season... Let's be honest. That means he's shit. He's not going into the Arsenal squad, and even Liverpool in 8th. We don't want him in our squad. So technically, you're shit. If I'm going to be honest, for top level teams.
I'm trying to use. I want to use.
And I don't mean shit in a disrespect. I'm just using it in a colloquial.
I want to use Man City, but I can't think of a player. Alvarez, for instance, Julian Alvarez, World Cup winner. He's not shit, but he doesn't start every game.
That's a different story. I'll take Julian Alvarez at Liverpool. I'll take. Dan, would you take?
You wouldn't take Fred at Liverpool right now.
I'm not taking Fred at Liverpool.
You're a liar.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You are a liar.
Are you serious, bro?
Yeah.
You are the
most inconsistent player in your team.
Liverpool need a Fred right now.
We do not need Fred.
You thought you had one in Pater.
No.
But you don't, bruv.
No, bro.
Don't.
Bro, look, as shit as Fabinho has been, Fabinho is still better than Fred.
There he is.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Why would I want Fred then?
Yeah, but Fred isn't a starter, is what I'm saying.
But we got Badgetic.
You have Keita, bruv.
No, Keita's going.
When Fabinho is out,
we don't want
Keita, bruv.
We don't want Keita. So you can't use Keita as an example.
But my point is, you would take.
Why would I take him when we don't want Keita?
Because Fabinho is dead right now, and now you need another option. And the other option is Keita.
What did I say?
Who got a booking in the first half, and Liverpool. Sorry, I'm not going to get there. Sorry, host.
Guys, you're responding emotionally, which I understand. But if you listen to what
we knew this episode
exactly,
was going to be
bare facts, no feelings. If you listen to what I said, we don't want Keita in our team, and I said Fabinho has been shit. But at the rate that he's been shit, I still have him over Fred. So you can't say to me, that we would take Fred if we've got Badgetic, who's been better than Fabinho,
also a starter,
currently starting. and I rate him higher than Fred right now.
Okay.
So we've got him and we've got Fabinho as a backup.
Okay.
So why would I take Fred?
Fabinho's a backup now.
To Bajcetic, of course. Fabinho's been terrible this season.
Okay, all right.
So why
yield.
would I take Fred?
I yield. If Fabinho is no longer a starter, and Bajcetic is a starter, I yield.
That's what's been
my
happening.
opinion.
That's what's been happening.
That is not the case.
We'll get on.
And then, sorry, one last thing. So again, if you're saying that Fred isn't starting next season, I think with all due respect, I can say that he's a shit guy.
So who is starting next season? Because we know that Manchester United wanted to get Frankie de Jong.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to.
By all accounts, he's getting replaced next season, especially.
Well, I was just about to say that Frankie de Jong was meant to be Fred's replacement, but
I thought so. Yeah.
But in watching that game, he outshined him in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Fred really outshined him. in that game.
He definitely. Well, I'd say is again a tale of two halves. I think the first half, Frankie de Jong, he showed his class, if I'm honest, and
he's a baller.
He really did, and I think if we was to go back in for him, he's definitely got something that we're missing. But then second half, Fred did his job, and obviously we came out on top. So kudos to Fred and for pulling the performance out of the bag, regardless if we think he's shit or not. At this moment in time, he's doing what we need him to do.
Of course, man. Of course. Again, I don't have a problem with Fred being the star of the show. I just wanted to know: do you guys see him being there next season? Because going into the next game that we're going to talk about, I'm thinking: is this a guy that's going to be here, or is this a guy whose days are numbered? Or
my opinion is Fred, because I'll be honest. Like I know I just kind of fought his corner, but I don't really feel Fred.
Yeah. Inconsistent.
Yeah, that's my thing with Fred. He's very inconsistent. Like he blows hot and cold. Pause. Is that pause?
Nah.
Okay, cool. So
maybe.
He's very up and down. You never know what you're gonna get. But when he's on form, he's a player. And on form for Fred is just like know yourself, innit? Know you don't need to be doing these 30-yard passes. Just get the ball, break up play, spray it 5 yards, and then keep it pressing. And he's got such a good energy that he can chip in with a goal.
But I have him the same as Keita, to be fair, because when Keita's had good games, he's had good games, but it's too far and few between for me to even consider you as a Liverpool player right now.
Well, Fred's enjoying the fortunate circumstance for him, but obviously...
Definitely, because we've obviously had a couple of injuries as well.
I was just going to say, Christian Eriksen being out, he's started his 7th successive game, and to be fair, he had the Stretford end singing his name, so we have to give...
respect to him, man.
Yeah, we have to give respect.
I thought Zabit's coming to them would spell the end of Fred.
Yeah. He has come in and he's looked very impressive, and I personally think that's a move that we most likely need to make permanent, even though we probably won't see him as much, just for the direction that we're going.
Well, obviously Manchester United, you was able to beat Barcelona. It is key to note that obviously they were missing some key players. Pedri was injured, Gavi suspended. Do we know if that would have affected the game? Who knows? But staying on Manchester United, we segue into the cup final. I know this is the game that, some of the boys were excited to come and talk about. This was an end to their 6-year wait for their trophy, defeating Newcastle 2-0. This is what was the name of the cup? Was it the Carabao,
aka the League Cup?
I knew it was an energy cup. Which one? What cup was it?
Oh, okay.
Boost.
Cool.
Boost, was it?
Boost, yeah. Boost.
Was it Boost? Red Bull? Was it the Red Bull Cup?
Boost.
Is this the direction we're heading in now? Yeah.
Okay. Direction we've always been at.
Right. So
it's a cup in the bag. It's been.
No. So can you just clarify the name of the cup?
I don't need to clarify. We won a cup.
Okay.
That's what I need to clarify.
Right.
Man United have silverware. We've got trophies.
The cup. Some people said it looked like a mug that you have your tea out of on a Sunday morning.
Wicked.
So wait, hold on.
It's still silverware. They're trying to mug off the Carabao.
To collect my Uber Eats and you come and disrespect the
yeah, literally.
No, because last year you lot said something along the lines of you wouldn't even let your child drink out of that cup.
What I'm going to need you to do,
all of a sudden,
what I'm going to need you to do, Joey, is provide receipts for these accusations.
Exactly,
okay?
definitely receipts.
That's what I'm going to need.
Stamps and times and all sorts.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's give them the due respect deserved. Manchester United end their trophy drought of nearly 6 years, and they have picked up the Carabao Cup in beating a very good,
A wounded animal.
I'm going to disagree with you there and say a competent opponent in Newcastle United.
But it was competent, bruv, because Karius had a good game, bruv.
No, he had an okay game. And
He had a
obviously,
good game.
but I think they were wounded because obviously that Liverpool game had inflicted irreparable damage on them. When you've got like Nick Pope, who is 6'6", 6'6" in goal, and then you get Karius, who hasn't played a game all season. It does affect you mentally.
Yeah, but that's nothing. That's nothing. That's out of our hands.
So you see it. Sorry, just
obviously,
quick one. The
Karius
second goal.
being a previous Liverpool.
He never played for Liverpool. Sorry, quick one.
Wow.
You see the second goal they conceded.
Yeah.
Wow.
You lot saw how far he missed that by, innit? Karius missed it.
Yeah.
Are you going to typify?
I'm just saying, like somebody who's 6'6" gets their hand to it.
Are you going to typify his whole performance on that second goal? Because he
I'm not. I don't think it was a big deal that he missed it. I don't think it's his fault.
Did you watch the game?
I saw the goals.
Okay, 'cause I was
Live.
gonna ask, did you think Karius had a bad game?
I don't think he had a bad game at all.
He had a good game at all. So when I say good game, it's like the expectation for Karius starting the game was that he's gonna have a madness, and I noticed from I think Rashford had a shot early, like he rasped it, old school Russie things. Russie is a shot by distance hit with incredible pace, 30 yards plus. By the way, Russie.
Appreciate that definition.
Russie is the term. So yeah, Russie Russied it, and yeah, but he like safe hands, and then throughout the game, he didn't look like he was struggling at all in the game. So yeah, man, credit to Karius. Like, you've done well, man.
Aside from that second goal, which like as Joey has alluded to, some people may blame him for, some may not.
I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, he made 8 saves, 3 inside the box. He had 30 touches throughout the game. Some may say it was redemption for Karius, but it wouldn't be redemption for Newcastle as they went on to lose the game, as I've already said. And Manchester United are now the Carabao Cup champions.
Boost Energy Drink Cup.
Here we go.
Guys,
Audi Energy Drink Cup.
When did it stop being Carling Cup? I still call it the Carling Cup.
Yeah.
When United won.
Or League Cup.
No, Carling stopped. Probably be like 2000.
It's a good while now, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't bring myself to say
Yeah,
Carabao.
yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Carabao?
But all I
Yeah,
remember, when
Carabao.
Liverpool first won it in my memory, when I was, it was a Coca-Cola Cup, man. So it's been through the rounds. isn't it?
Galala here.
Newcastle fans will they would be happy to obviously get to that stage, being in the finals, but obviously a 2-0 scoreline is quite familiar for them. Obviously, I think they lost to Manchester United in 1998 in the FA Cup final, not the same competition.
Is it like 60?
Was it 1998?
60 odd years or something since they won?
But then I know they also lost to Arsenal by the same scoreline probably the year after. I might have mixed those years up. Forgive me if I have done, though. But going to this game, what would you guys say about Casemiro? Has Casemiro been one of the best signings United have made in recent times? Potentially the best signing since RVP.
Very influential. And I will give it to him because I did say at the beginning I didn't think he would have the legs.
You said he was fat.
And to be fair, he was, like most of the team were lagging at the end, but I'm not gonna hold that against him. I'm gonna say what a effing player we got there. And obviously since we lost Roy Keane, innit, like I don't think we've had someone like that at all. So yeah, again, played like a boss, scored an amazing header. That guy gave everything, and yeah, I think, and I really think that his energy just spreads throughout the whole team. What do you think, Malima?
Yeah, I would. So if you're talking about signing like the best signings in the past 10 years or whatever, I wouldn't give it to him personally.
Okay.
But I would say he's one of the most important signings, and I think he's like complementing like the signing of Lisandro Martinez as well, because I don't think Casemiro works if you haven't got Lisandro Martinez working next to him, because
mental still.
Yeah, like it's different. It's different now because Varane was there last season, but he was playing
a bit
with
of a soft youth as well. If I'm going to be honest.
What, last season, this season?
No, just in general. Like,
okay, fair.
Because I've always made the observation that he needs to play with somebody with skill. So, like, for example, his
Okay, in that way. Okay,
his best times at Real Madrid were obviously next to Sergio Ramos, who's got the mental nastiness and the
Martinez seems very up for it.
Exactly. And now
he seems like a fella that suffers from short
when he was
syndrome.
with
Maguire, he's
Maguire, exactly, who doesn't have that. He's a bit kind of like, he looked a bit lost.
He looked a bit light. Now, obviously, to move on to Martinez, like Martinez is made him look a lot stronger. And the point I'm making is like Casemiro doesn't work if he hasn't got those guys behind him.
Yeah.
I think the best sign in the past 10 years for me would actually be Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah, because
he's been incredibly pivotal. Even to this season, he's chipping in with goals. He's getting a lot of assists, and also he's like the official. He's not the official captain, but he's like, fans know him as the real captain. Like, it was a nice gesture that Maguire, got up there.
No, of course, that was
put
nice.
his crummy hands on the
that was classy from Ten Hag.
Yeah, I think that shows the guys.
The best thing for me about uni was not contributing to the group coursework, but taking the accolades. So I can empathise with him. But sorry, just based on what you were saying, obviously, other than the goal contributions, like assists and goals, you said that Bruno's been like the best player in the last 10 years, because best signing. You got like a love-hate relationship with him, so. Or not you, but a lot of Man United fans have love-hate relationship.
Do you know what it is? Bruno is he takes a lot of risk. Yeah, sorry. Bruno takes a lot of risk in game, and that's obviously evident. But I think naturally with attacking players, they're going to take a lot of risks. They're going to give the ball a lot away. Give the ball away a lot of times. I think where the main criticism with Bruno Fernandes is that he sometimes does it in areas where you wouldn't want him to lose the ball.
Yeah,
agreed.
So I think he's gotten a little bit out of his system this season, and that's just because naturally he isn't having to go that far back, because he's got Casemiro, he's got Lisandro Martinez, where he doesn't have to take it upon himself to try and control the game as much, because he can do that in the right areas of the pitch. So I think that's where he's benefited. But like, if you look at like most chances created in games like across the season in the league, he's always very, very high up in terms of like goals and assist contributions across like the past 5 seasons. He's high. He's a massive player, and that
very influential.
Bruno Fernandes is a big player for Manchester United, but I mean, so do you not attribute? Do you think it's just purely coincidence rather than attributing it to be a fact that Casemiro comes as a known winner? This win yesterday against Newcastle would now mean that he's won 11 out of 13 major finals that he's played in. I think that's a coincidence.
But I do.
But
I was just going to say, in terms of stats, stats.
I mean, he did score yesterday as well. So he took
obviously
the
stats are there to be seen, but I think at the same time,
potentially offside. I mean,
it's potentially, but we won't go into that because obviously we're champions now.
I will. Today I got time.
Here we go. But now what I would say is, again, I think this all will stem back to 10, because it's not just Casemiro.
So. Yeah.
It's Rashford. It's again Ronaldo shipping out. Like, we've got someone who's driving that ship.
Yep.
And when you've got someone like that driving the ship and they know what they're doing, this is what you get. And I feel like if you go back to Sir Alex Ferguson, he never used to have like the best players.
Yes.
But he still used to grind out these results. And that is what I can see 10's trying to do.
Yeah, so just to buttress what Dre just said, you were saying Casemiro being a finals winner and all of those kind of things. I like Dre said, I don't think it has anything necessary to do with Casemiro. One thing I've always wondered about Arsenal and Man United in their kind of like down periods is that they never really had a player playing in the spine of their team with the mental fortitude that you have with Casemiro, or that you have with Jaap Stam, or you have with Rio Ferdinand. They never ever really got that. And personally, they could have gotten anybody with that mental characteristic to play in that position. And I think Man United will be playing the same way. It just so happens that Casemiro has that, and he's a good player and also has the final experience as well. But I think the best signing Man United have made is Ten Hag.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No facts.
in the last 10 years. I think that's what it really boils down to.
I think you're spot on with that. I think Manchester United, the tactics. He's a very shrewd tactician. His subs have been spot on in both games that we've covered so far. But in the Barca game, he was spot on, as we touched on. In this game, again, every sub seemed to be perfect.
He's very, very classy. When you hear him in his pressers as well, he just seems to. He's never seems rattled. Like even like the fixture pile-ups, like his response to like the fixture pile-ups, like, it is what we just got to move. We just like the games come, we got to play. Like this is a result of like winning games. Like you have more games to play effectively. Like he's delivered a certain calmness amongst the club, because like even me, like when I see fixture pilots, I'm like, nah, man, the players ain't gonna have very much energy, kind of like what's happening. But he's like let's just work, let's work.
It's the products of success.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Were you scared about Rashford when he went down against Barca?
I knew it was mind games. I realized it was mind games just because I think we've done it a few times, and then I saw him having dinner with Alex Ferguson. I was like, it's definitely mind games.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And we also do need to shout out De Gea, because he's now superseded Peter Schmeichel's clean sheet record. So there's 181 clean sheets.
I think we said that last week, to be completely.
No. He equaled it last week. Need to listen to it.
I wasn't here the whole episode, but I remember hearing that last week. And I think the listeners will also be.
Joey is as tired of Manchester United as I am, but it is their moment. They have won the first trophy of the season.
Well done, man.
Start of things to come.
When you say start of things...
Well, no claps.
No, I want to clap, but you don't have set a precedent where we don't clap.
Nah, no claps from these haters,
you're not going to clap? Is that what you're going to do? Are you supposed to be impartial today?
I mean... it caught me off guard. But as you can see, Manchester United got the claps that they deserve, but only from their own fans.
Dickhead.
No, so Rashford's goal scoring form looked like it was going to continue. Obviously, the goal got awarded to.
He got
awarded back.
Oh, really?
Apparently, yeah.
Nice.
Well, the rule on it is that if it's on target, it counts as your goal, right?
Apparently, it was awarded, then it wasn't awarded, and then they re-looked at it and they awarded it back. So it's a bit of a weird one.
Well done to him, man. Like, he's I'm still waiting for our apology, but I'm loading up an apology for him for ever calling him Shashford.
Okay.
But I'm not going to apologise until he apologises to me, because I'm petty like that.
Okay. Can we? Has he got the best celebration in world football?
What the finger to the head?
You mean the celebration that has been done before him?
Yeah, that he stole from somebody else. Ben, I used to do it, bro. Calm down.
Yeah.
Okay, but Martin, has he got currently has he got the best celebration?
What are you talking about? The one that he does when he puts the finger to his head?
Yeah.
The one that has been used before.
You are tweaking, bro.
I'm not.
I mean, for your own good, if we can just move on,
out of respect for yourself,
just out of respect.
Marley, they're hating, man.
No,
they're just burning inside. Just leave them. It's
cool. Why do you
cool.
think that's a good celebration, bro? J man.
Bro, he's just like trying to reflect on a good issue out there, like for us youngsters, all us male guys that try to bottle it up.
Shut
No, it's basically simplicity, focus.
Yeah.
Is that what it means?
Yeah,
focus.
focus.
It's not mental health.
No, that's what I said. It's focus, bruv.
Okay, yeah.
Mental, bruv.
Well, I'm going to move on, but before I do, this is the first of the 4 trophies that you're competing for. I say 4 because the Premier...
well done, man.
Yeah, the Premier League, you guys have established last week that you're title challengers. You're in the FA Cup, and obviously you just knocked out the quote-unquote favourites of the Europa League competitions. I'm going to start off with you, Dre, man. How many trophies do you expect to finish with at the end of the season?
I think we've got another one in us at least.
So how many trophies?
Two this season. And even if we didn't get 2, then it is what it is. But I think we can get 2 out of 4.
Are you confident enough to name it, the trophy?
I'm going to say Europa.
Yeah, I would have said the same thing. Funny enough, cup double.
Yeah,
cup double, Europa.
Europa.
FA Cup.
I think we might go out of that, if I'm honest.
Who you got next round?
It's West Ham on Wednesday.
West Ham at home, so we should win that
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we'll be tired, and I'd expect
then
them
we got
to
you
rotate.
on Saturday. Liverpool on Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Talking of Liverpool, let's move on to Liverpool. They come off the back of 2 good wins against Everton and Newcastle.
Come on.
Those wins, full of confidence. They take on Real Madrid. last episode. I don't know if you guys listened to that. I'm hoping you did. I'm sure you did. And Joey had a lot to say. He said no one can talk to him. He's coming for. What did he say? I can't remember it exactly.
Joey
but
knows.
he's coming.
What did you say, Joey?
What did you say, Joey?
He's coming for it in blood.
Do you want me to say what I actually
Yeah,
said?
you please do.
I said, God forgive me for the sins that I've committed. I'm just a man. I'm only human.
But full of confidence, and rightfully so, they took on Real Madrid at Anfield, the fortress, and they took a early lead, 2-0 up. Liverpool fans were celebrating everywhere, only for it to go a little bit pear-shaped. Joey, it only makes sense to go to you. Let us know how that felt for you. The final score ended 5-2 to Real Madrid. Are you focusing on the Premier League only now? Or can Liverpool do what Liverpool have done in the past and give us that Champions League magic and give us something to look forward to?
Honestly speaking, I've always said we're going to make Champions League, but I've never thought we're going to do it via the Champions League route. I thought Real Madrid, you guys will notice I also said like Crystal Palace and Real Madrid are our bogey teams. Yeah. I don't know if anybody went. Only one person's nodding their head. Can I get a nod from someone else?
I can't verify that one.
Insert sound clip here. But no, Real Madrid, like we don't beat Real Madrid in the Champions League. That's not really our thing. It can happen. I'm praying it happens. We only need 3 goals. It's not impossible. We've done it before. But I wouldn't put my money on it. So the only thing I'm sad about is that they tricked us into believing in that game.
Definitely.
But I think that was a fair result, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I think really and truly the game should have been about 3 or 4-0
To
Real Madrid. Because
what did you make of the goalkeeper shows? There was a bit of a horror show for both parties, right?
I don't mind. They're both, for me, they're both the best keepers in the world.
Okay.
So it just shows that they're both human. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't see any better keepers than them. Courtois' one was worse than Alisson's one. I have nothing to say other than they just didn't make any sense at all, and they were both kind of funny because, like, Alisson, I don't know where you were thinking you were kicking it to. You could have just clicked it out for a clearance, but you just kicked it straight at him, and then it was just serendipity that it kind of curled into the goal. But things happen, innit? But again, I'm not too fussed about the result against Real Madrid, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I've kind of like feigned that I'm sad because everyone in my Liverpool groups is like super sad and they're saying you have to do this, you have to do that.
Can I take you back to that moment though? Where were you at that point? Obviously, Darwin Núñez, he finds the net again after scoring against Newcastle.
Okay,
he scored again.
Cool.
You know, Salah, he's kept on saying that he is going to get retribution against Real Madrid. It's 2-0 up.
Yeah.
Those 2 players have scored, especially for you, Darwin Núñez. I just want to take you back to that moment in particular, because obviously right now you sound very, you sound
let's
put
go
together.
back.
Yeah, so
you guys won't know, but basically I built a purpose-made studio in my garden for me to kind of like consume football.
Right.
So I've got like a 68-inch TV up on the wall.
What a waste.
Again, I've got a 68-inch TV up on the wall because, like, unlike these guys, I'm a fan of football first before I support Liverpool. So I'm watching all games on there.
Okay.
So I'm watching the game, sitting there like on my own, no wifey screaming in my ear. Got a little bar in there, a couple of drinks and all that. It's good vibes, isn't it?
Sounds brilliant.
The room is filled with loud. Yeah,
it sounds
it's a very loud night.
I can only imagine.
So I'm just sitting there. Ball comes in from Trent, who's been doing some crazy assists recently. Núñez does that same flick that he done against Fulham that failed, and then he done accidentally, and it came off another player and went in. I'm saying, all right, cool, respect the team now, innit? It's a lucky dip. You don't know what you're going to get. Sometimes he's going to give you a load of bullshit. Sometimes he's going to score something beautiful, innit? I liked it. Given the respect, all the people that were saying that it was shit, respect him, because right now I'm getting it back in blood, remember? I'm in my getting it back in blood phase, innit? So
I feel like I was the only one that was supporting him.
I think so, because
in the midst of the bet where I've bet against him, I was actually the only one supporting him.
So I'm saying, yeah, okay, he's doing this thing, innit? And then the Courtois thing happens. That's when I'm thinking, nah, something's wrong here. Because Salah doesn't score against Real Madrid. Something's wrong here, bro.
That goal was his 8th goal in the Champions League.
Right,
and he broke Steven Gerrard's
But he doesn't score
record
against Real Madrid. And I know he never shows against Real Madrid.
But how
when
did
I saw
you
him
feel
score,
when... Yes.
No, I said, no, this is fake.
Really?
I swear to God, because
So what,
I was so puzzled. This is not a feeling I respect.
At 2-0 up in the first half, you're telling me you felt a little... What are you telling me? How did
it's 2-0 up in the first half in, 20 minutes?
Yes. Yeah, but
This doesn't happen against Real Madrid, bro.
So you weren't counting your...
I was not. That's when I knew that this is fake. Okay. I swear to God, you could ask my Liverpool guys. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew this was fake because first of all, we're playing a team who are the current World Club champions of the world. Yeah, we're in 8th position. It doesn't make sense. But I said, you know what? I ignored my gut instinct and I said, you know what? Let me just take it for what it is, innit? And then Vinicius done that thing where he just wrapped the ball into the bottom corner. He wrapped Salini. Done. I said, that's it. Game over, bro, man. It was 2-1. I told my guys, game over, bro. Do not. Make sure you got your bets against Liverpool because you have to take something out of this game, innit? Yeah, 2-1. Game over, bro, man. That's it. From as soon as Vinicius showed, I can score at any time I want when there's 5 of you in front of me.
It wouldn't be the first time he's done that against Liverpool, so obviously I'm guessing that.
It wasn't really a roller coaster of emotions for me. And then while they scored their second goal, 2-2, I started saying to my guys, remember, we're 8th in the league. This is what you would expect from a team who's 8th in the league versus the club world champions.
So now that you're 2-2, what would you expect at that point? Obviously, away goals isn't a thing anymore. Did you expect that you might do more to preserve that scoreline?
No.
Did you envision that Benzi was going to pop up? Did you envision Vinicius was not going to let up?
Yeah, I don't know if you check our Belmont group, our Sunday League group, I said to everybody, this is going to be a shootout. When Vinicius got that goal, it's going to be a shootout, and it's about who's kind of more adept at using the trigger.
Right.
And again, we've seen Liverpool all season. It would be crazy for you to expect Liverpool to have a shootout with the club world champions when they can barely have a shootout against Brighton.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, innit? So me, again, I'm more of a glass half empty guy.
Right.
So I tempered my expectations very quickly. Yeah.
So as we look on to obviously the return leg, are you hopeful at all?
Again, a bit of advice for everybody out there listening. Put your expectations low, bro, man. Stop doing this thing, where
no tickets for Istanbul now.
No, stop doing this thing where you think, you know what, my girl would never ever cheat on me. Then you find out she cheats on you, and then you have to kill everybody that you know who knows about it. Stop doing that to yourself. Wait, hey, listen, everything that's gonna go wrong is gonna go wrong. Just let it happen, and if it doesn't go wrong, guess what? You're happy. So anybody out there thinking there's gonna be a magical night in Madrid, don't do that to yourself.
You're tweaking.
Don't do that to you. You're tweaking, innit? But
Did you watch the full 90 though?
Of course I watched the full 90.
Oh, okay.
Bro.
I thought you might have turned off at
No, again, so no, you lot laugh, innit? But one thing I kept on saying in my group, it's a pity that we destroy football by supporting clubs, because this game, if I didn't support Liverpool, this would be a fucking sick game.
I hear that.
It was a great game for the neutral.
And I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, it was a
but the
dope
only
game.
thing that ruined it for me
As an Arsenal fan, I loved the game.
The only thing that ruined it for me is the fact that Liverpool were involved in it, bro. So
I
you know what I mean,
understand.
I can cast my mind back to other games when I think was it 8-2 or something when Man United beat Arsenal?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Or was it?
we brought that up a good few
what's the
times.
host going to do? He's going to move on? He's going to move on to the next
was
subject?
Yeah.
It looked like he was about to move on to the next
Was it
subject
last
just now.
season when Arsenal
Let's move on to the Arsenal
4-0
game.
or something? 4-0 to who's it? You lost 4-0 to last season. So there's games out there when you support the club and it just ruins the game for you. But if you're out there as a neutral and you didn't know any of the teams, it will be amazing football. And then you say to your girlfriend, "Come on, watch football."
Well, what I will say is, at this particular stage of the season that you are, where you are, the audacity that you have to bring up such scorelines, I applaud such audacity, and this will come back on you tenfold.
Operation Champions League is still on. It's still on, even though we drew Crystal Palace, it's still on. But that's the next game. Bro.
Madder things have happened, bro. You never know in football.
Exactly, because I was just going to ask, and Joey has segued onto that perfectly. Is it all on the league now for Liverpool? And if it is all on the league now, what do you make of the stalemate that we witnessed at Crystal Palace. Obviously, Crystal Palace is a hard stadium to go to. Most teams will attest to that.
No,
Yeah.
I said that as well. Sorry to jump in. I said that to one of our mates, mutual friend, and he said he showed me the record against Crystal Palace. Liverpool have been smoking it since that time. Obviously, when they
was it like 8-0 last time or something like that? We played there.
It's been mad. It's been a mad record. Basically, since that time, Crystal Palace scuppered your title reign. You've just been cooking them like every single game. Sorry, go on, Karen. Sorry.
Yeah, all good things must come to an end, innit? So like, I knew, for example, we're going to be tired, and we weren't starting with our most effective player, which is Darwin Núñez. So I knew that it was going to be a bit of a lackluster game, innit? But at the end of the day, to be fair, that's the dropping points against Crystal Palace as Liverpool is not something that you balk at. It's something that you say, all right, fair enough. I don't know who we got next in the league, but I would be expecting us to take 3 points. If we don't take 3 points in that next game, that's when it becomes a problem. And it turns out we got Man United in the next game, I think it is.
Yeah.
So that's a big game for us, innit? So, and I think it's come at a perfect time, because something that Klopp keeps on saying is that, like, this is kind of what you become a manager for, these moments like these when you go through all the testing times. Like, it's all well and good when you're like Erik ten Hag and it's going well for you.
I'm glad that you actually went on to...
and it's going well for you.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what?
But when you're Jurgen Klopp and it's not going well for you, this is when you become a manager. No, I'm joking. Obviously, you not got slapped up 4-0 by Brighton and Brentford. So you've not been through turmoil.
You got slapped up. #character.
We've come a long way.
I was just going to say, obviously, United versus Liverpool is a very interesting game for so many reasons. One of the things I would say about Manchester United is their coaching, Erik ten Hag. He's quite adept in his substitutions, very shrewd. Klopp, he's come under a little bit of scrutiny for his substitutions. Obviously, it was quite puzzling that he removed Cody Gakpo. For me, especially as I had him in my fantasy team, I didn't understand what he was playing at, but he did so. And he brought on Stefan Bajcetic. Obviously, you've had a lot of encouraging and positive words to say about him, but in the 81st minute, when you're still searching for a winner against the Crystal Palace team that are struggling to find a goal, is that the substitution you would expect your manager to make in comparison to, obviously, Manchester United, your soon-to-be opponents, who seem to be nailing it with their substitutions?
Did you watch the game?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it says that he brought him on for him, but he also brought on like Harvey Elliott and a couple other substitutes at the same time. So I don't think it was like a direct replacement for Gakpo to go more defensive. I think it's just to kind of, because I think he took off Fabinho as well, right?
Yeah, but I think why I'm homing in on Gakpo, because like Núñez, that was coming off of a bit of a run. So was Gakpo. This was
right.
This Gakpo was
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Gakpo was in line to be the first player in a while to score 3 in successive games.
I think in that game, Palace were breaking on us,
right?
And I think he probably brought him on to kind of shore it up and to say, you know what, better that we leave here with 1 point than 3 points. We're playing away. We've been terrible. We just got turned over by Real Madrid. The last thing you want to do is add a bit of misery to that by dropping the only 1 point we can get from this game from against Crystal Palace. So you might see it as that, but I don't think it's a game that we were in control of. Like, Mateta was giving us problems.
Right,
and he's not scored a goal in a long time. So, do you know what I mean? Matip has been in horrible form.
Yeah.
Van Dijk hasn't been the greatest.
Henderson played the full 90, and from what I saw, he didn't seem to be having his greatest game.
Yeah.
Is this more food to the thought that Liverpool need a massive upgrade in the midfield?
They need Fred.
I don't think anybody would...
Did you just hear J-Man?
What did he say? Say it again.
I said you need Fred.
I dare you to say that. No, obviously, it's no secret that we've been taunted by Bellingham this whole season. We know that there's like 3 or 4 players. Like, literally, if you swipe left and right on Google News, first thing that comes up in my stories is 3 or 4 midfielders that Liverpool are linked with. 3 or 4 midfielders that Liverpool need to buy. It's no secret that we need to get all these players, but again, you just have to deal with what you said. You're the one who wrote these checks about being in Istanbul. that's you. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You need to deal with it. So I'm not trying to hear anything about
But he also said stuff about, like, obviously the Real Madrid game took it out of you lot.
that. And I think that's a load of bullshit.
It's an excuse, right?
Because it's not like when they scored the 3 extra goals in the second half that we put it out there and left it all on the pitch. No. Like Fabinho was literally standing still when a 38-year-old Modric ran past him.
Yeah.
So there's no way you can be tired from that game. So it's an excuse. And I think what is also kind of like troubling me at this point is we look at ETH with all the games pile-ups and how he's kind of like navigating it, and he's doing it in a stoic manner and not making excuses. But then you hear Jurgen Klopp talking about us being tired, or you hear him talking about X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't read. I don't receive it with warmth, because like when you're kind of going through those turmoils, like you just have to deal with it, man. Because that's the part and parcel of being successful. But one word of warning that I'd like to give Man United: the last 2 teams that were in the FA Cup final and the League Cup final, where are they now? So watch out.
Cool.
You can't solve that riddle for me, please.
Chelsea. Hey, listen, the only saving grace that Liverpool have right now is that Chelsea are where they are, and they're just doing a lot worse, man. So
Terrible.
Can Liverpool make top 4?
of course we can. I think the gap is only like about 6 points or something like that, man.
I felt that
maybe 7 or 8 points now.
I think a win, you needed to win, but I do agree with you. A draw wasn't the worst draw, the worst result in the world, but
a draw wasn't curtains for us.
It's not. But I mean, you look at the form. I mean, it's possible that they can get there, but the form that Liverpool are showing right at the minute where's it going to change? I'm hoping it doesn't change against Man United.
Yeah.
Because obviously you need a.
Where are we now? We're February. The Man United game is going to be March, right?
Yeah.
So literally, we can lose to Man United, and then we can go on a decent run, and we can still make top 4.
that's true.
So again, I'm not worried. Obviously, Tottenham won against Chelsea, a game that we'd usually expect them to maybe draw, or I'd say draw.
No, to be fair, you're right.
So like again, the only adverse thing is that Tottenham won and took all 3 points against Chelsea, which technically is a tough game. But if we lose against Man United, we can still go on after that. I think we've got City,
You've got
Arsenal and City, and we've played Chelsea twice. We've got Tottenham.
You played 23 games. Tottenham have played 25. Tottenham have got 45 points. So if you win your next 2 games, what is that? You got 42 points, so you'll be 3 points behind them.
Exactly.
So yes,
and then I think we've got Man City, we've got Man United, we've got Arsenal.
Yeah, you might as well write the Arsenal game.
And we've got Tottenham. I think.
You got to do it the hard way. If you like, you got to definitely do it.
I don't even think it's the hard way. If I'm going to be honest, man.
You've got to play us as well, brother. Relax, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying we can. The way Tottenham have been playing, we can lose to Man United and we can lose to Arsenal and still get top 4. If I'm going to be honest,
I think so as well. To be honest, I think from the amount of games that Liverpool have played and seeing how they've played this season to where they stand in the league, shows that it's possible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is so possible.
I won't be happy with it.
No, exactly.
I'll kind of.
But you take it.
I'll take it. But I'll be. It'll be one of those things. You know, like when your child is eating McDonald's, but they're crying at the same time.
Yeah, but because
but you're pushing them to eat because they're crying. It's one of those kind of things, isn't it, man? But yeah.
All right, so moving on. Let's move on. Obviously, we're going to go on to just a small matter of the top of the league, Arsenal. Obviously, they had the opportunity to extend their lead to 5 points at the top of the table, with Manchester City playing later on in the table, which they successfully did with a 1-0 win over Leicester. Leicester proved to be a stubborn side for the league leaders after being panoggered by Manchester United. You might have expected, especially with oh God, what's his name now, man? Why has his name evaded me? It's going to come back to me. Sorry, sometimes that happens to me. Mind block. Leicester's star player.
Oh, Maddison,
that's it. There we go. Maddison, especially with Maddison missing.
Wait, he didn't play that game?
No, he didn't play that. He didn't play that game. You would have expected that it might have been too tough of a feat for Leicester to come up against Arsenal, but Leicester put up a very, very good performance against Arsenal, considering, just to keep it 1-0.
Wait, hold on. What's happening here?
But that being said, no, we're moving on to Arsenal.
As in, are we talking about Leicester playing Arsenal recently?
Yes.
What, Leicester put up a good performance, you just say?
They put up a good performance to keep it at 1-0, but that being said, it was probably one of those 1-0 score lines, a very entertaining 1-0 score lines, because it could have been a 3, 4, 5-0 score line.
VAR obviously had a...
Did anybody capture the game?
Yeah, I actually I watched the up until 75 minutes.
Yeah.
And what was mad about the game is that it cut out for me around 50 minutes.
Okay.
So I came back and I just didn't check the score. I didn't look at the score while I was watching the game, so I assumed it was 0-0. So I went to the gym and I was thinking, come on, Leicester. And then I just saw that. I think he scored at 46 minutes. I was like, what? Bro, I was so sad, bro. I had the worst workout I've ever had in my life, bro.
All right. So obviously coming into that game, Eddie Nketiah has been leading the line. He's been leading the line since Jesus has been injured. And there's been some talk around the club that maybe, obviously, since the United win where Nketiah scored the brace, that potentially there's no one pushing him for places. Potentially complacency may have set in.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, and maybe in the way that he plays, and this is no indictment on Eddie Nketiah, but it was taken away from some of the performers that were performing to a level prior to him coming into the team. And it looks like whether the fans may have been onto something, because Arteta had picked something up, and it looked like Trossard, Martinelli and Saka was the front three, with Trossard leading the line, playing the false nine. Did either of the podcast pundits capture the game? Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I think Trossard, I think he's shown that he sometimes he needs to start those games as well. And I don't know whether he's, I wouldn't say reluctant, but I don't know whether he's trying to see how he's trying to bed into the team and things like that. But I thought he had a really good game, actually, Trossard, and obviously being unlucky with the goal as well. Seeing that obviously it was chalked off for VAR, because obviously they said was it the keeper that got held back before he shot it for like top bins. And
what did you think of that? Did you think that goal should have been chalked off?
I think, like with every decision this year, I think VAR at times is farcical, if I'm honest, because you never know which way they're going to go, and I think that is what people get bored of, because if it was consistent, then you'd be like, okay, cool. But then you just get ludicrous decisions, and obviously, again, like most of the times for me, someone's interpretation of it's always going to be different.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Even if you're a referee, I still don't see how certain things are let go and certain things are deemed like a foul.
I mean, that's funny you say that, because when you say certain things are let go, do you recall when Arsenal were playing Aston Villa and Ollie Watkins did exactly the same thing?
Hang on, let me get the violin out for you.
Wow.
I'll put in the suitable sound effect later.
Bro. Play the game, man. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Listen,
VAR gets everybody wrong. Come on.
I did not ask Drayman to say what he said.
He didn't say it about you, he said it about VAR in general. And then you had to make it personal about Arsenal. Let's talk about the game, bro.
Arsenal fans really do believe that.
Bro.
Yeah, there's a vendetta, isn't it?
Come on, man. VAR is just shit in general. It's nothing to do with Arsenal.
Okay, so, all right, if it's nothing to do against Arsenal, I'm going to ask my question anyway, because we're talking about Arsenal, the Arsenal segment.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, when Ollie Watkins did the same thing to impede Ramsdale, the goal stood. But
exactly. To be fair, I was thinking back at that point, if I'm honest, with the keepers, that situation.
Thank you.
So I'll give it to Striver there. I think Trossard, he's definitely deserving a starting place for me. And Martinelli, he got the goal, didn't do too badly. And I think maybe, like you said, I think that the heavy reliance on Nketiah, maybe it is playing a little bit on him. because like even like obviously don't want to go back to Man United, but obviously we got Weghorst, and he is kind of in his head. He's trying hard to score a goal, but it's just not happening.
Yeah.
And I sometimes feel like when strikers have that in the back of their mind, it's not going to go in because you're trying too much.
I don't think that's why he's not scoring.
No, me neither.
I don't think that's why. Because he just looks like he hasn't got his finishing ability isn't up there with some of the better strikers. That's where I think his issue is. Sorry,
sorry. Back to Trossard. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. I'm surprised that's the first game it's happened because we've seen.
Did Trossard give you? Did you? You said you watched the game up until about the 70th.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask you this. Obviously, Trossard gave us. I'm an Arsenal fan, so Trossard gave us something different than Nketiah gave. Was it reminiscent of what Jesus gives Arsenal?
I think so. And again, if you've watched Trossard at Brighton pre-January, he's played a couple games before he had beef with De Zerbi. He played a couple games up front, and in mind, it's the game where he got a hat trick against Liverpool, and just seen him as a pest. Like a pest is somebody who you can't kind of like anticipate how much pace they have because they can accelerate and decelerate and accelerate at very like at will. So even though you're in a foot race with this guy, like even if you kind of like put your all into it, like this guy's going to get to the ball first, isn't it? So, and that's what Jesus does sometimes as well. So like what he'll do a bit of skill and make you feel like as a defender, you're going to get to the ball, and then he has quick feet, maneuver it around you, knock it past you, accelerate past you as well. I think Trossard can do that as well, and he does that on the wing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't started Trossard up front already, because we know that he's capable of doing something there, and against big teams. I'm surprised that he came in this game because, for me, Nketiah's kind of turned the gas down on his fire a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to what you've said, your observations. I mean, Trossard coming into the team, it was quite interesting for Arsenal. I'll say that because what you found with Martinelli since Jesus has been injured, it's been quite known that his output has kind of drastically reduced to the point where he even got dropped. And if we go back to when Martinelli last started with Nketiah, he got one pass from Nketiah. In this game where he played, he linked up with Trossard. Trossard found him 8 times. And obviously we saw the difference that made because Martinelli was on the score sheet, and it was almost, you saw the Martinelli of old. Now again, this is not an indictment on Nketiah, but it's just to kind of show that with Trossard playing as the false 9, dropping deep, it allowed obviously Saka to sometimes come in and take that 9 role at times. Even it afforded Odegaard the opportunity to come forward and take up that position. Trossard sometimes would drift to the left. In fact, I think that's where Martinelli's goal came from, when he drifted to the left. You know what I mean? So we almost saw shades of when Arsenal had Gabby Jesus in the team. And dare I say it, if we all remember, Gabby Jesus did have a bit of a goal drought. What we are seeing in Trossard is this guy knows where the back of the net is. So the question I'm going to ask to the podcast pundits, obviously we saw the way the transfer window went, and obviously Arsenal seemed to get all their backup targets, but in an inadvertent way, has Arsenal, once upon a time you might have thought they didn't win the market, but have they potentially won the market? Is Trossard a much better buy than Modric could have been for them? Is Jorginho?
No, I think people that said that they had a bad window, that's factoid, because first of all, we know that obviously Jorginho can't do what Partey does, but we know that he's adept at certain things that Arsenal would appreciate right now. And even though they didn't get Modric, they got Trossard, who is more than accomplished in the Premier League. Like, you can't, even though Liverpool have been like stinky this season, you don't scoff at a hat-trick against Liverpool. And if somebody who's doing that at Brighton, you're getting him for how much? It was at 30-odd mil.
Yeah, something like that.
How old is he?
I think he can't be more than 27.
Do a quick Google, shall we?
But however old he is, like that's nothing to scoff at. So like, for me, there's no way that Mudryk can be better than Trossard.
It's 28.
He's 20 years. Okay, there's no way Mudryk can be better than Trossard because he doesn't have a body of work. He has nice YouTube clips, I'll grant him that, but he doesn't have a body of work and he doesn't have it against big teams.
And since that, obviously when he first came into the Prem and he had that little spurt that made everyone wonder,
it tricked us.
Yeah,
it got us. It got us. But again, there's no, like, you'll be crazy to say I'm going to take Mudryk over Trossard.
I had a feeling as well. The Shakhtar players, it's hot and cold with
You
them.
said that.
They burn up Ukraine and sorry, probably bad choice of words there. But they do their thing in Ukraine in Shakhtar, and then they come to other leagues and they just look underwhelming. Particularly the Premier League. Williams probably the exception where he's probably delivered, but remember Bernard, Bernard for Everton.
Oh man, that guy had so much chips in him.
Yeah.
But I think one thing I'll say about it as well, we probably need to start taking notes of our hot takes, because I said when Arsenal didn't get Mudryk, I said they've dodged the bullet here.
I remember you said that.
But but I don't think I paid enough attention to Trossard. Well, I think I did. I said Trossard is a great signing. But I don't think Arsenal fans celebrated it as much as, because I would have loved to have had Trossard
Same
at Liverpool, man.
Same.
100%, like, especially now that Jota's kind of coming back from injury and he's not. I don't think he's going to get sharpness back this season. Trossard would have been amazing for us. So whatever you were saying,
where does Trossard like? Where is he in terms of levels of like players? If that makes sense.
At Arsenal,
no, in terms of just overall, like. Who would you compare him with? What's his level?
I mean, there's so many players that he has a lot of higher output than.
No, because I'm just saying it in terms of, you're saying that the Arsenal fans probably weren't as excited about this striker.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So where are they looking at him?
Okay, so based on Arsenal players, I have him higher than Martinelli. I have him higher than Nketiah before he went there. I have him higher than them because
in theory he's actually higher than he should have been higher than Modric as well, because he's been in the Prem,
exactly,
and he's done it in the Prem, so we've seen it with our own eyes.
He's proven.
Yeah, in the Ukrainian league, it's respect.
But the only thing about Mudryk is that he did it in Champions League.
To be honest, I
don't remember it. I don't remember. I think I saw.
To be honest, Trossard is XG. I think I saw this somewhere. So don't quote me on this, listeners, but I think it was even more favourable than Jesus and Nketiah.
Yeah, I did see that.
I'd expect it to be higher than Jesus.
Yeah, so I
not
think
necessarily Nketiah though. But
so I think he's gonna cause some good problems for the Arsenal coach. Obviously, Drayman, you were talking about, obviously, I led you into that conversation, but we was talking about VAR and some of the decisions, and obviously the violin came out. There was another incident in this game. I'm not too sure if you gentlemen caught it, where Saka got brought down by Harry Suter, and it just seems to be something that is continuously happening to Arsenal. And I mean, Marley Marl's rolling his eyes at the moment, but it just seems that when it comes to Arsenal, they're not getting the decisions. Did any of you catch it at all? Or because what I was going to ask is, do you believe that the referee got it wrong? Should that have been a penalty? Because obviously Ian Wright has come out and attested that was definitely a penalty. Did anyone capture that or not?
Ian Wright's comments could easily have been taken as a rant, because that's how I saw the rant before I saw the actual incident. Did you see it, Joe?
No, I didn't see it.
What's your take? Do you think
it was a penalty? Stonewall. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go as far as saying it was a Stonewall penalty, because you could see like Saka's not paying any attention to Sitar. Yeah. He's just going to play the ball. He's been tripped up and bundled over. That's a penalty.
I'm not really sure how they do these VAR decisions, but from my understanding, there's a main official.
I don't like these 3 p.m. Sorry to cut you. I don't like these 3 p.m. kickoffs anyway, because Saka also scored, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
But he got ruled out.
He didn't score if he got ruled out.
So did Nacho then.
But the lines weren't even drawn out. So we don't even know if they made another mistake.
This is why I say they're crazy. All right, because do you think? So you're telling me there was a repeat offence from the last offence where someone got sacked,
has lost his job,
and is now on the dole.
Yeah, has lost
That
his
dude,
job.
you think? Nah.
But then you watch Arsenal versus Leicester, and you see your star boy taken down in the penalty box, and there's no penalty. But I'm not sure if you guys saw it, and I'm prepared to move on because Arsenal won that game, and obviously they sit 2 points clear at the top of the table at the moment because obviously Man City was able to claw that lead back. Yep. But we're not going to go on to City first. I think we should touch on the Spurs game.
So let's just talk about. Sorry, just to go back.
That wasn't a penalty. It was contact, but I think it was a bit too soft.
You do this. You do this, Joey.
Tell the truth.
No. You
Tell the truth.
You always do this. Anytime it comes to an Arsenal claim, you always say it's too soft.
Yeah, because you
you do this, bro.
Since Tony Adams left,
Bro,
you've
you
been
do
soft team. You've been a very soft team since Martin Keown's, Tony Adams, and Patrick Vieira.
Yeah,
you've been a very soft team.
They've been pretty soft.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that Man United have done right is bring a bit of steel in Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez. So when I say it's a bit too soft, you can't say I do this. I'm just telling the truth.
Bit of a soft centre, you have. But that's what you get with kids. You know what I mean?
That's what I was when I was saying, Dan, like in terms of the VAR, from my gathering is that obviously I think it's one official that kind of looks at it with another two others that maybe draw lines or whatever. They're more technical though.
Yeah.
But if it was me, and these VAR decisions are obviously, they're basically whether you get the points or not now, because obviously they're big decisions.
Yeah.
They need to have, in my mind, 2 referee officials in the VAR thing judging that, so that while they can both listen to me, they can both either say whether they think it's obviously a penalty or not. If, for instance, they both disagree, so one says yes, one says no, then it goes back to the referee to have a look, who will have the final say.
Yeah, I don't even think that will work. I think the referees are cowards, because the fact of the matter is, like, when a referee is looking at it in that room in, where's it, Stockley Park?
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously telling the referee on the pitch that, all right, this is what I think, but you can also make a decision yourself. And rare is the case that they go to the monitor and they be like, do you know what? I disagree with that. So having 2...
No, but that's what I'm saying. If the 2 agree in the VAR room, then you don't even need to go to your referee.
That's like 5 minutes worth of conversation, though, man.
Yeah.
Well,
but if it needs it for big decisions,
if it gets the right decision,
but the right decision is subjective, because
that's what I'm saying.
Decision was what was given, but then obviously you don't, because you lot are victims. I don't have a victim mentality, so there's no way I can say that.
You can't be a victim.
What's that Arsenal helpline? Do we have it?
How does the violin go again, Jules?
Yeah.
Have you been affected by an Arsenal VAR claim?
How you jumping the league and they're still laughing at you? Clown ass niggas.
These guys are laughing as Arsenal won their game 1-0 and extended the lead to 5 points to the top of the table.
Even when you're successful, you're still clown. Bum ass niggas.
So what I was going to say there's a lot of teams that are in trouble at the bottom of the table, you know.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Leicester being one of them. They are close.
Yeah.
They are very, very close, and I wouldn't mind them going down.
Right. Southampton as well, but I think I've always rooted for Southampton, but I think, you know what, man.
Speaking of teams that are close to the bottom of the table, Arsenal play Everton. Is a close return fixture to when Arsenal.
Another team that's enough.
Who's at home?
Arsenal's at home this time.
Yeah. You lot need to give them 5.
I think this redeems the game that's in hand. Yeah, so obviously Arsenal win this game, then it goes back to 5 points. And
I'd like Sean Dyche to get relegated again.
Yeah, so what you guys are predicting an Arsenal? Arsenal result?
I think
easy.
Sorry, just going back to the last result, something that's kind of like that. I kind of always question since I think that Troy Deeney thing. Right. I've always questioned this since, again, like I said, Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, and Thingy left. I've always questioned like the mental steel and fortitude of Arsenal. But then when Troy Deeney did that thing against you lot, I kind of like it kind of resurfaced.
You know, you're talking about something that happened so long ago. You know, at the moment, do you know what's happening now?
No. But I'm saying that
1-0 and
that's what I'm saying.
And arguing.
You listen, I'm saying that to say this. So Troy Deeney said that. So right now, you're seeing Saliba and Gabriel, and you're seeing Partey kind of bring that still back, and Arteta manage that still back into young boys, innit? So what I will say about you lot winning, kind of like quietly getting on with your business, I think that's priceless in terms of what it does for your top of the league and Premier winning the Premier League title battle as well. This Leicester game, getting that 1-0, that's a massive thing. Like, especially if I look back at Man City and the Liverpool title winning seasons, those 1-0s against those teams where there could be potential banana peels, they're huge games, innit? So I think if you lot take that result and then go on to the Everton game and win that game, again, these are massive, priceless
massive strides,
especially if Man City's form is in question as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I agree with you, and that's good observations, Joey. Let's go down to the neighbours down the road, Spurs. They were up against, they were in a London derby against Chelsea. That game ended 2-0. 2-0 in Spurs' favour. Obviously, that result may spell doom for the Chelsea gaffer in Potter.
Should do.
But funny enough, the Spurs gaffer is never present when Spurs win. That's very interesting. Did anyone catch that game?
I did.
Yeah, bro. So talk to me. How did you? What did you make from that game? Did you catch the goal? Because it was a scorcher of a goal.
So I came in 10 minutes, and then I saw Oliver Skip lace that goal. I think Kepa should have saved it. To be fair, it was kind of straight at him, and he had a soft wrist.
Typical.
And went in. So I was disappointed that because obviously, like, this is the first time Oliver Skip has scored. So they're thinking, like, obviously, like, the first time you score a goal, it's serendipitous that the guy who's behind the goal has a soft wrist and it goes in when it shouldn't have really gone in. It was straight at him. After that, so I'm watching, and I've got to go out, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, I'm tired. What should I do? I slept. The game was boring, bro. The game was boring, bro. Like, it's only when I woke up like 15 minutes later that I saw that Harry Kane had scored. So there's nothing to report back other than Chelsea are in trouble, bro. And I'm surprised the manager's still here recording. This is Monday evening we're recording. I'm surprised the manager's still there.
Especially as they just suffered 2 1-0 defeats to both Borussia Dortmund and Southampton. I mean, I think...
Oh, wow, that's three defeats. Oh.
Yeah, it's quite bad for Chelsea, to be fair.
What do we make
I mean,
of it?
Chelsea's
I mean, that's nothing to be ashamed of, losing to Tottenham and Borussia Dortmund.
No, but Borussia
as a
Dortmund,
club,
Southampton and Tottenham.
and
Southampton is
Chelsea scored 1 goal in their last 6 games, and they've won just 1 of their 11 matches.
Yeah,
in
they're
2023.
in a bad way.
Who do you blame for the goal scoring? Because obviously, like, Del Estrada always mentions that Graham Potter never really got goals at Brighton. As soon as he loses, Roberto De Zerbi's getting loads of goals at Brighton. He's got Aubameyang, but Aubameyang's not in the Champions League squad and is not in starting lineup.
Yeah,
and they're not getting goals.
It shows what he thinks of Aubameyang.
But Aubameyang has been a bum, respectfully.
I can't blame the players for the lack of goals because they've got so many options right now. Figure something out that works.
No, but name me the options who gets goals, because the only person that I can see in there is Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
You've got Raheem Sterling, you've got Pierre Mbangam that they're not using. Obviously, he's out of form, but he's not even giving him a go.
But understandably, because he did give him a go.
What's the striker called? Fofana?
Yeah, Fofana.
No, but
he's looked well. He's looked pretty
Fofana
good.
got his opportunity when
he did.
Silva he had
Red
an early
card.
bath. No, it wasn't. He didn't get a red card. I think he got injured, I believe.
No, you're talking about Wesley Fofana.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
You're talking about
I'm pretty sure
Diafra Fofana or something like that.
I can't remember his first name, but I'm pretty sure they got a striker.
Yeah, they got a striker, but he
looks pretty good.
I didn't like the look of him when I saw him.
Okay, I like the look of him and Madueke, and I think players like that, for instance. And I keep on just moving back to Ten Hag, and sorry for doing that, but like I think when you've got the chops as a coach, like I don't think it should take as long as it does, or long as Potter is taking.
You're being unfair. You can't.
He won the Energy Cup in it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you can't.
Champions,
Like, obviously, how many managers have we seen come in and do what Ten Hag does? What he's done is very exceptional, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
So if we're going to relate it back to just going back to what we were saying about the players, Madueke, he kind of like puts in a shift, but his end product hasn't been great. And so I think a lot of these things you're blaming Potter, but Havertz doesn't get goals, and he's not been getting goals for a while.
He keeps on playing him.
he doesn't really have a choice. But because
he does.
Hang on, let me just say, Raheem Sterling's the only one who looks like getting goals, and he's just come back from injury. Thingy doesn't get goals. He's not a goal scorer, if we're going to be honest. What's his name? Atletico Madrid Don.
Felix.
João Felix doesn't get goals. He's not a goal scorer like that. Mudryk is supposed to come in and do stuff, but he's looked a bit stinky since that game against Liverpool. When you
got to remember, these are still young players that probably still need to be coached.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a bit unfair how we're judging Potter and these guys who are not, by any measurement, goal scorers.
They're missing Tuchel, man.
Potter ain't got the juice, man.
I can't argue with that, but
I stopped being, because I was in his corners somewhat.
It's the interviews.
The last interview particularly really stressed me out. I was like, no.
That interview was
moving bummy, like
that was quite offensive. He's comparing himself to managers. He's got no right comparing.
Yeah, but I don't think he compared himself to the managers. He compared himself to the managers while they were losing.
But he still has no right to.
Why not?
So, for instance, he compared himself to Arteta, right?
When he was losing.
But let's just put some context in there. Man. So Arteta took over Arsenal. Arsenal had just got rid of Unai Emery. Then they had Ljungberg. Then they had Ljungberg as a caretaker manager, and then he's taken over after 18 games or so, right? They were 13th place. He's got Arsenal up to 8th place, and he's won an FA Cup. That bought him time because he's won a trophy. Arsenal fans are besotted with Arteta at the moment. You're expecting a brilliant season coming up.
How long did that take, sorry?
That was literally half a season's work.
So 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, half a season's work. And then in the next season, Arsenal fans obviously would have been hopeful for the best, but finished 8th again. Not happy about that. And then you start the following campaign losing your first 3 games. I can't recall. But it may have even included a 5-0 loss to Man City. I'm not sure.
I just remember the game against Brentford.
Yeah, there was just some heavy losses. But caveat that with half the squad was missing. It was a COVID period. It was completely different to somebody who had spent billions on a young squad. I just feel you don't bring Arteta in it. And then Klopp,
if he didn't win the FA Cup.
But he did.
No, but I'm saying, but if he didn't win the FA Cup, because sometimes you have to look at the circumstances. When did he start? He didn't. He started after January.
But why?
And the FA Cup isn't 100% attributable to Arteta.
But okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah. You could.
Factually, it's not 100% Arteta's win.
Factually, you could say that, but then also factually, you have to appreciate that
there's no factual appreciation.
The games that Arteta had to take on was against Chelsea and Manchester City.
But it doesn't matter though, bro.
It does matter.
Because you can't get to that stage without what Emery did there.
Fair enough.
So that's what I'm saying.
But you can't win the cup without beating City and beating Chelsea.
100%.
And Potter in that position today would lose.
You don't know that. Because he's not in that position, so you can't say that.
Well,
based on what he's saying...
But the same way you're saying that you don't know that, I'm saying that what we do know... Let's just focus on what we do. Yes. Is Arteta was in that position and he won.
He won, yeah.
And that was the credit that he was. That's the credit that afforded him.
Yeah.
The grace to still be in a job.
So again, speaking on
Potter doesn't have that grace.
No, but he doesn't have the grace. But factually,
and he also mentioned Klopp.
Yeah, it's rude.
No, but
you mentioned
rude.
Because you're saying but there's no but.
No, you have to let me finish.
That's the point.
My point. It's not about caliber because again. These guys don't have caliber until they hit success. That's the point.
But he did have success.
No.
He had success in Dortmund as well.
No, I'm saying Arteta didn't have success.
Arteta never managed.
Guys, you have to let me finish. What I'm saying, exactly. These guys didn't have success until they hit success. That's his point. So and that's the point of every manager that gets kind of like sacked before their time. It's like if you're saying if you afford me time, I'm going to do this.
I get the point he was trying to make, but it was trash. Like, bro, you're not that guy.
It's not a great point, but I kind of see what you're saying. I just don't necessarily agree with it, and it's not the hill for me to die on. But 100%, yeah. Like, I hear what he's trying to say.
Yeah, but I do hear. I get what you're saying, but when you're kind of like going through adversity,
yeah.
Don't point at other people. But what about him? What about
exactly?
Don't
do
that.
It's poor. I think it's a poor choice. A poor strategy to try and get the people off your back. Like it felt out of character as well.
And it was the wrong two people, in my opinion. And you're using Klopp. Klopp at the moment, some Liverpool fans might be.
No, but Liverpool fans wanted him out. Like I said to you earlier on, when he lost the Europa League final, they wanted him out. Then he lost the Champions League final. They wanted him out. Because people are irrational.
But he was in the Champions League final. He was in the Europa League final.
Yeah, but again...
Who got him there?
But what I'm trying to say to you is that people wanted him out. It doesn't matter who got him there or where he was.
But then
the fact is that people are irrational. And then after people get sacked, when Arteta wasn't doing well, loads of people were talking about how maybe Emery should be here. And then obviously Emery got to a Europa League final with Villarreal, who are a lesser team than Arsenal in my opinion. So it's like we say all of these things, but then there's like the opposite. And I don't think he's wrong in saying it. Maybe the way he said it and the people he's using examples aren't the greatest. But the message he's trying to convey is that, like, listen, I'm trying to do something and it's a tough job here, bearing in mind the unprecedented circumstances of a person who's owned a team getting kicked out of the country by a war in Ukraine, whatever, and then a team going through change and turmoil. And I'm the manager who just so happens to be here. I said he shouldn't be there again, but he's there. So he's saying, like, listen, shit is fucked up, but give me time. I'm going to fix it.
So
and then obviously...
do you give Potter time?
Do I give Potter time? I think if I believe in his message...
That's not what I'm asking. Do you give Potter time?
No, it's contextual. If I believe in it, then yes. If I don't believe in the initial message,
he's got one more
no.
game in him. If he loses the next game, he's out.
I agree. That the comment he made in the presser, and even like the bants of like, oh yeah, I just came out of a crisis meeting. Like it's just all reeking of desperation.
Don't be bantering me, bro.
Yeah, no,
I would sack him for bantering.
Yeah.
I would sack him for bantering him.
You're in the mud right now, bro. But keep it professional, bro. Like I think one more game, one more loss, he's out. Like as much as they want to,
and I think he should actually get to see the end of the season. But I'm where you are.
Yeah, no, it's just not.
I think the only thing that doesn't sit right with me is the pre-season thing. I don't think you can see the best of a manager without them kind of like having pre-season. And I think the worst thing about this is that they've compounded it by chucking 350 million pounds worth of players at him. That just adds confusion.
Can I ask you a question?
It doesn't relieve the problem.
Can I ask confusion? Because obviously, let me just ask you a question. I do want to move on from this, but is it arguable that Bowley is having a bit of an ego moment here? Like, I've hired Potter, he's Brighton star. I can't sack him, otherwise it makes me look like an idiot.
I wouldn't.
Would Roman have sacked him by now?
Roman would have definitely sacked him, but I think obviously Bowley's come in with a new ideas of how he wants to run the club, and he wants to steer away from that hiring, firing managers.
And he's learning at the same time.
Yeah, and I think at this point, if Bowley was to sack him now, I would say Bowley's displayed an incredible level of patience up until now. I don't think anything could be said of Bowley.
So is it stubbornness to not sack him now? Is it a foregone conclusion? Should he be sacked?
I think if he loses the next game and he's not sacked, then it's stubbornness for me, personally.
Cool. Well done to Tottenham. Obviously, they've won. It was a brilliant goal from Oliver Skipp. Harry Kane has scored as well, so he's making crazy headway to breaking more records. Obviously, just before we crack on, obviously we cannot. Just before we end, we cannot end without talking about Man City. Man City 4-1 win over Bournemouth. It was a dominant display to begin with, and then it looked like Bournemouth started to find their way back into the game. Did anyone catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Any words on that?
I think it was business as usual up until like the maybe 60th minute, and then I don't know if anybody saw the Newcastle versus Bournemouth game where they kind of showed that they are actually capable of a bit of grit and playing well and delivering good performances.
Yeah.
So I think they brought on I forgot his name. Is it Jadon Anthony or plays for Bournemouth? But anyway, they brought him on, and then he started to kind of like playing a bit of football, and Bournemouth started playing, and Jefferson Lerma got that decent goal. So I don't think it's anything for Man City to worry about. They were comfortable and they just kind of let go of the reins, and then Bournemouth seized an opportunity to get a goal. That's it.
What do you think of Foden coming into the club? I'm saying into the club, into the into the side. Yeah,
that is about time. I've had the idea. Another conspiracy theory by Marley Marl. I have the idea that Arteta, or not Arteta, Pep is sacrificing the Premier League title for Arteta's sake. And one of the reasons for that, one of the supportive arguments for that is the lack of use of KDB and Philip Foden. So it was interesting to have him back in the game. Smashing player. He always needs to start for me. KDB always needs to start for me. When they're fit, they play.
Yeah,
that's my.
Jack Grealish has been really good.
That was the rebuttal I got as well, and I'm like, I mean, he's been playing better, but is he better than Foden?
I think he's been really good.
I think what it is, Jack Grealish and Mahrez, they play quite similar in terms of the way they play. Whereas Foden, he stays out wide, he gives you that option, and then he gives you that option in behind. Whereas
he's not
Grealish and Mahrez, they like to get the ball into feet and run at their players.
Yeah.
So I think to actually to back you up, actually, MJ. I understand where you might come with such a ridiculous claim. A ridiculous claim I once also had, by the way. But it's ridiculous now because obviously we saw that they clearly are not in cahoots.
They don't want to lose to you, but everything else.
But I think, if we look at how Man City played last season, where Rashford and Foden were getting loads of game times and getting loads of goals, he seems to be steering away from that.
But Foden's the closest thing they've got to the Raheem Sterling model.
So obviously, I think he's steering away from that model, and now he's just doing the inverting. So where he knows that Jack Grealish is going to dribble on the inside, and Mahrez is going to look to cut inside and finesse.
Yeah, it's interesting, Foden's lack of game time this season, and obviously but
I think he was injured for a period as well.
Yeah, I think he was injured, but he was definitely on the bench a lot of times as well.
He's been doing that with like Diaz and Laporte as well, where they were injured, then
and obviously
they don't come straight back into the team after it.
We've seen with the Cancelo thing that he isn't scared to sell someone as well. So who knows who's going to be
who knows what's going on in that
chopping board in the summer. But yeah, Man City doing their thing. I mean, that was everyone expected that result, right?
Yeah.
But then obviously Man City seem to be a lot more vulnerable at the back nowadays than they used to be. Is that something that, if you're an Arsenal fan, you can take confidence in, or do you just think that Man City took their foot off the gas because they were so far ahead?
I think it's like the same thing that Pep's been talking about all season, about how it's difficult to kind of motivate these players, and then these are players that are kind of in and out of the team through injury as well. So he's got a tough job on his hands, but again, you've seen when it comes to the crunch time, when they have to play Arsenal, that they're capable of kind of like pulling out these results and performances. So there's not really that much to worry about, but at the same time, if you can't motivate the players to do that all the time, it's a problem.
They'll be up there.
They'll be up there. All right. So, guys, before we're gonna bring this podcast to a close, are there any standout players that made the back pages for yourselves? I'm gonna just go round the table.
Is it just players, or is it? Because I remember De La Strada, he widened it out, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
managers, coaches.
Yeah, managers, coaches, anyone. So yeah, the pool is wider. We'll start with you, Marley Marl.
Yeah, I'm going to go for an obvious one today. It's got to be Fred. He's had a fantastic game in that almost a Champions League. Oh my God, we've been in the dungeons in the Europa League. Yeah, it's got to be Fred. He had an amazing game. He actually looked world class in that game, and he has those tendencies where he actually does look world class, and then he has those games when he looks like he's playing in the Conference South. But yeah, old type man like Fred.
Unfair to Fred, man. Dre, man, have you got anybody in mind at the moment for the back pages?
It's hard not to go, obviously, with our team, being that we've won the silverware.
You giving it to Manchester United?
I think I have to, just because of the week they've had, and I'm not going to give it to a player. I think I've said his name before. I'm giving it to 10.
You realise De La Strada opened this up so that you could actually avoid choosing someone from Manchester.
But that's why
I think
you chose the whole club now.
1 week where you've given it to Will Steele. So like, we're giving it to a Man United related person.
That's what happens when you keep winning, man, and your team keeps playing well.
I respect that. I wish we started this podcast in 2019, so I could give it to Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I just especially I just think the week we've had and 2 big games that I'm guessing that a lot of rival teams had hoped that we had a bad dip in form or a turn of fortune, but 10 seems to have got us through these games every 4 days, and I got to give it to the guy. So I got to give it to Ten Hag, and he deserves it. We've got a cup now. That's one down. We move on to the rest.
Yeah, bro. Have you got someone for the back pages, Joey?
It's definitely not Liverpool related. That's a fact.
Yeah, no. I mean, that was a given. You stop saying stuff that we already know.
I mean, no, it could be Bajcetic because again, that guy's been
he seems a little bit out of sorts against Real Madrid.
It's Real Madrid. Calm down. But I think mine's gonna have to be non-league again, isn't it? Like, okay. I think #United they've got 18 wins in a row. You lot are laughing, but like again, any team again in the top 5 steps, bro. 18 wins in a row, bro. It's madness, bro. And they're gonna get promoted. And when they get promoted, you'll never hear me talk about Liverpool again. I'll tell you that for sure. I'll tell you that for sure. But yeah, congratulations, man.
Bro, man. All right, cool. And I'm just gonna go for an easy one. I'm just gonna give it to Foden. I like the way that he came in after being omitted from the squad for so long, coming in and showing Guardiola how useful he can be to Manchester City and how he can make Man City a viable threat to Arsenal's title challenge. Guys, we're gonna wrap up this week's episode of Podcast Pundits, episode 8. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for listening to us. Congratulations to Manchester United on getting their first trophy for the season, their first trophy in their 6 years. Champion, ole, ole, ole. See, just talking about the Carabao Cup is giving Draymond the energy that he needs, the energy cup. He was sleeping during the podcast. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
What happens when you win, man? You get bored.
So yeah, but guys, man, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, catch us on all our social media outlets. Subscribe to us. Stay with us. We'll see you next week. We out.